Let's go! USA! USA! Got a lot to talk about. Sound check. Cool.
Fire it up, footballers. Oh, man. We are here to react live to the USA losing to the Dutch and getting knocked out of the round of 16 at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Thank you for joining us here on Spit and Fire. The U.S. men's national team has lost 1-3 against the Netherlands, the Dutch, at World Cup 2022 in Qatar. We got live reactions from fans like you, as well as pundits, people of import, and all the rest of the world. And we're gonna get into it. We're gonna have some words for the future of the U.S. men's national team. I mean, we are going to be talking. Let me just put it this way. What's up, everybody in the chat? Really appreciate you guys joining us here on Spit and Fire. Kick that like button so other people can find this type of awesome soccer content. Do a little bit of gaming on the side, but we're going to discuss the process, the results, the players, the coach, Berhalter, the future of U.S. soccer, U.S. men's national team, and the 2026 World Cup in America / Canada and Mexico. And who will win this World Cup and who will win that World Cup, and we'll get into it, all of that with you guys and your questions and comments. Thank you, guys. Wow, I mean, I don't know how else we start. But with a little lamentation. USA, they came to play. They showed up and proved to the world what USA, you might have forgotten about us last World Cup, but every World Cup, we show up and we put in hard work. We make you worry. We make you sweat. And not only did USA do that this time, they made teams and coaches from European nations quiver in their boots, reminding them, oh snap, America, not to be trifled with. American soccer, something to be admired. Something amazing happened in the midfield for USA, a coming together of men and an emergence of a leader in Tyler Adams. Yes, they weren't able to get across the finish line this time, but gosh darn it, there was hope that all the way up and even till the end, that they could make a mark. They had a chance. They were in it, and they had a great moment at this entire World Cup, and there's so much to build on, so much to move forward from, so much to look at each other, each in that huddle, and say, not next time. Next time, we're gonna beat them, and we're gonna beat them like we always do, the American way. Let's freaking go, everybody. Let's freaking go, chat. I think that a lot to learn from this loss. We all knew it was 3-1 odds that Dutch were going to win that game. 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4 games USA could win, and they definitely showed it. And maybe even 2 out of 5 games that USA could win that game. What's up, Angus? Yes. Oh well, says Angus. At least my second team is still in it, and that's the Dutch, isn't it? Chat. I mean, America had a great World Cup, and I put it this way. I felt that the players, the U.S. players, had an incredible World Cup. The coach of the U.S. had a not so good World Cup, and in the immediate aftermath, I wanted to say he had a horrible World Cup, but he did not have a horrible World Cup. He had a so-so World Cup. There was questions and marks. There was on many and almost any decision he made, but there was also times where he made the right decision, and we were all like, yeah. Questions, of course, started before the tournament started, and then continued on during squad selection, and then a couple of choice subs here and there. And for many, we're ready to see Berhalter go, but there are probably a few out there that don't want to see Berhalter go, that want to see what Berhalter could do another 4 years of this squad. We got to be prepared for both of those contingencies. I myself kind of want to move on and let somebody else have a new crack at the apple. But Greg did impress me. He showed me that despite all the doubt, despite all the hate, despite all the naysaying, and he was able to get this team to perform at a high level to the point where we had Louis Van Gaal thinking, "Oh shit, what am I gonna say after I lose this game to the USA in the knockouts?" Like Louis Van Gaal was on the sideline thinking that for just a moment in this game. And could any other coach cause that? Then Greg Berhalter? Yes, possibly. But gosh darn it, he did it, and that's a credit to him. A lot could be said. A lot could be said about the negatives. A lot could be said about the positives for this team. What are you feeling about it, chat? Let us know. Frank is saying, yes, it is. Haha. Oh, music's a little too loud. Sorry about that, guys. Chat. Agree about the players, says the Archduke himself, Angus McCullough. Agree about the players. Greg will be staying too, but I doubt he will make it to the next World Cup. Really? He'll be staying for what, a 2-year period before we fire him and get a new coach for the next World Cup? So you think he's gonna get a little denouement here following this World Cup? I mean, that's fair. On this performance, getting to the round of 16, pulling up second in their group, beating out Iran and Wales, and having an excellent result against England. I mean, there's a lot to build up on the program here, of Greg's program. So the question is, do you want to continue with Greg's program, or are we thinking it's time to get somebody else in there? It's time to get Jesse Marsch in there. But we're going to have to wait on Jesse Marsch. Like, Jesse Marsch is not going to be available right away, and maybe he will be here in a few months, and then that's when you make the move. And then you could start making the transitioning sooner than later than having to wait a 2 years during a 4-year cycle. I think you got to get a coach in for that whole 4-year cycle. And if you're going with Greg, you got to stick behind Greg for this 4-year cycle. Damned, almost the results be damned, right? No, the results can't be damned, because if he doesn't show progress, if he doesn't show some sort of continuation of progress in this program, then he's got to go. So maybe he does get 2 years, chat. Maybe Greg gets 2 years to try and see if he can build upon this. And if he can't seem to turn USA into some sort of type of mini juggernaut, you know, at least in the North American world, where we're beating the Canadas and the Mexicos pretty regularly, who, guys, let's face it, they're all really good too. But we got farther than all those guys. We blasted a bit further through that wall.
James, how you doing?
Oh, what's going on? Thanks for joining us, brother.
Man, you said it pretty well. I was sitting here listening for a hot minute.
By the way, got Toke sliding into the Discord call. Thank you, Toke.
Yes, thank you, FC Neo Tokyo, on all things that you probably don't want to hear from me on. Apologies.
Oh no,
dude,
you're good.
That was rough. I am not a drinker, and I am officially drunk before noon because this team just broke my heart, man. And what sucks is, like, they didn't, right? Like, I was mad and all, but, like, I'm kind of still all good. Like, I'm getting ready to play some FIFA and get my Timothy Weah card. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just, like, chilling, and it's a weird feeling because I always feel like the United States would gut out wins or they would just get smoked. And it's like, oh yeah, well, of course. Remember, we're just athletic. Dude, there are 3 things that happened today. One is we played the Dutch, who technically now I'm considering better than England, because England has so much better players.
Yes.
But are not well coached.
Yes.
So we technically saw
So you're
the
saying
first...
Louis van Gaal, incredible, great tactical coach, or at least the Dutch just have tactics that win.
Well, no, I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying better than Gareth Southgate and Greg Berhalter.
Yes.
I mean, he outcoached Berhalter. This is the first time he got outcoached this tournament.
Tactically superior. I mean, they scored on like the same play, right? Did it
Dude,
seem
they
like...
did the only positive plays they had in the entire first half. There was 4 of them, and it was all 4 the same play.
It was like the
and
same.
Two,
I'm like, feel
and
like I'm
2
watching.
of them
I'm taking
scored.
crazy pills. Like I'm watching a replay here. I'm like, oh, here
Right.
it comes again, and then they fall. And the key American players fell asleep in those moments. Tyler Adams in one moment fell asleep. It was
Yunus
tired
Musa.
legs, and then Dest fell asleep in another moment. It's just, and then the entire back line fell apart in the third goal. And it's. I think that had to do with tired legs more than tactics.
Dude, Anthony
though. Do you think
Robinson
so?
was done. Jedi was done.
Mm-hmm.
He needed to come out, but we don't have another left back. So that's where, like, I don't know. I don't know what the answer was. I actually thought when Yedlin was coming in, Dest was going to shift to the left and Yedlin was going to play on the right.
Mm-hmm.
I just, that's the other thing, dude. We were down 2-0 at halftime, and I still felt like we were the better team.
Yes, we were coming on. And then we scored that goal, and it was like, oh wow, this is where the Dutch, they fall apart.
Dude, this team, you know what? They didn't succeed today, but they sure endured 2 of the worst gut punches in the entire game of soccer, which is a goal right before halftime, and as soon as you bring yourself within 1 goal, like losing it. It just quite literally, it was a good performance. That's the thing. That's where I'm like not too terribly mad, but I'm just like super disappointed because like they could have on a different day with the ball bouncing a different way, they could have won this game easily. It could have been reversed 3-1. And that's the other thing too, is like it just was kind of hilarious to watch because I felt like so often, quite literally, the ball just bounced the other way. Like things would bounce under Yunus Musa. Like it would be McKinney would stick his foot out and it would just go around. Whereas in the other games, we were getting those bounces. McKinney would stop that ball. Yunus Musa would control it. And it's just,
I'm back.
It was kind of just a funny representation of everything that's been going on. I tried to carry this, bro. I heard you. I knew you left.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it. I thought you heard me. I said I had to run just for a moment.
No, I did. I tried to carry it. I tried. Consummate professional.
Dude, you are. When I listen to your when I listen to your guys' videos, you guys are freaking hilarious.
Oh man, it hurts my soul, man. Toye, I love you, brother. We need to keep things going, but he's gonna release an album soon.
Ooh.
I don't know, like he's recording one, so we'll see what's up. But yeah, dude, can I say one thing? I gotta be honest. Like, I really have a tough time saying anyone had a bad World Cup. I feel like Haji Wright will get accused of not having a good World Cup because the last 2 times we saw him, he played poorly, but like the first time we saw him, he played well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think the only person, and not to like pile on, because this is like kind of the Ricardo Clark thing. Like the moment was so big for him, he crumbled. But Jesus Ferreira, quite literally, you know what? I don't mean this to be hyperbolic because I hate sports talk shows where they're just like, oh, he's garbage, a dick guy. But like, what I really feel like, and I would love to be proven wrong and or right, is I feel like Jesus Ferreira never once passed the ball forward. Every ball he passed was back away from the goal. And not that like that wasn't the right option from time to time, but every now and again we need him to go forward, and that just like literally killed us.
Jesus did not go in and provide what the team needed, and immediately made me question why he played at all. That whole
He's
first
the only
45.
one with legs.
Well, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why he played and he had to play, and that's the other thing. The legs were really apparent in that first 38 minutes, and finally, I think it did catch up to the Dutch too. And at a certain point, it evened out. But that first 38 minutes, the USA's the first 14 minutes, USA knocking on the door, looking like they could crack and get a winner right there in the first 14. And then after the first 14 for the next 14 to the next 38, I felt like it was Dutch energy and USA tired legs.
I would agree. I feel like the US was literally not dominating, but oh, this is the better team for 9 minutes, and then boom, 3 seconds later they score.
Yeah,
I
saw that. Didn't you see the dead legs in some areas? That what affected it? What else affected it besides that? Do you think?
No, I mean, here's the thing, dude. It's so tough because that's the other thing is yeah, Greg deserves a lot of criticism, but in some sense, he kind of did what the internet wanted at most times. Other than the false 9 that we only got for 6 minutes today.
The Gio Reyna?
Yeah, other than the which oh my god, dude, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me collect my thoughts here. Let me
write them down. I got a piece of paper here that I always write down
dude,
stuff.
So Greg had no other options. I know people want Aronson and Reyna, but I'm sorry. They may be better players. Aronson and Reyna up against McKinney and/or Musa might be individually better players. Their stats may be ranked higher. They might be the quote-unquote obvious choice. But there is just some kind of special sauce with when Yunus Musa, Tyler Adams, and Weston McKennie play together. So that's why, even though look at England, they forced Gerrard and Lampard. They forced Gerrard and Lampard and won shit. So if we're gonna force Reyna, or Aronson, stop, because Musa, McKennie, and Adams work so well together. And I don't want to be a hater. I'm not trying to have a hot take in all this, but I think we saw why Reyna got chosen, got picked over all these games. He did not play well, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe I'm dumb.
Well, he didn't.
Maybe I don't know what I'm looking at.
When he went out there, I thought that he did provide a little bit of a spark, but at the same time, you could see that there was a lot of rust.
You really could. It just, man, you know what's funny? It's some of these guys get accused of certain things, and it's almost what we saw in this tournament was just, not everything turned on its head, but think of all the shit we saw. Serginho Dest played amazing defense, which in theory we're that dude sucks at defending, and coming into this, right? And so we think Pulisic tries to do too much. Honestly, I really feel this game called for certain guys to just make a couple moves and take a shot. They were being all so unselfish because they are that's another thing. That's why this team is good. I forgot Virgil van Dijk was playing in this game for large swaths of this game. You know what? You are totally correct. He made in the first. He actually, I will say this about Virgil van Dijk. This is why you can be the greatest in the world. Completely invisible for 90% of the match. Made one play in the first half and one play in the second half. Both gigantically huge plays. Didn't they lead to the goals or something like that? Or no. What did he do? He cleared off the line in the second half. In the first half, there was a break that it's one of those kind of half chances that when it's happening, you sit on your couch and go, oh, but then no one ever talks about in the highlight packages, right? But he stopped down a Serginho Dest move that was about to be something, and it's just that's how you are the best in the world. You don't get called out because you're not being reckless. You maybe don't do a huge amount of flashy things, but there are the two moments that change a game, and you are there. That, dude. That's the thing, man. I really feel as much as we all talked about, we want the Dutch because they were the kind of the weaker of the better teams. Mm-hmm. It's just honestly, we're kind of all dumb because I was victim of that. I thought that, but now watching the game, I'm oh my God, no. We could play a team that had the exact same level of talent, but if they were all a little smaller, we would have fucking worked them. Mm-hmm. We actually got bullied. And part of that is Aronson, Pulisic, and Tyler Adams, they're not men yet. They're still young men. They're literally going to get more muscle and be tougher. But right now, like, this team was actually just so physically large that was enough of a difference to be 3-1. I really think
they were athletically as capable as America, and in fact that really shined in the first 45. They were the more energetic team, despite playing the same amount of matches. All those guys all played the same amount of matches, basically the same amount of minutes.
Yeah, they're just physically stronger. Like, one of the most, like, obviously we talk on the internet, so we don't have a fuck ton of actual human friends that care about this around us, right? But anyone who will listen,
they do, yeah,
right? So anyone who will listen, I'll always show them the Josie Altidore goal in the Confederations Cup as the perfect example of physicality in soccer done legally, well, and strong.
There's a hockeyness to it.
Right? That kind of hip movement that you're just, I command this position. I'm guarding this patch of land and not even just the ball.
Right in front of the goal, and it's like you got your stick down in hockey. Like, it's so much like hockey, getting that dirty goal, and it works so well in hockey. And America is good at it, or was good at it.
We're not anymore. We're small.
Well, Haji is big, and we didn't use that.
Haji's just, you know what? He's in Turkey. He's still young. I still have high hopes of Haji having a very strong career, and who knows? Like, that's the thing, dude, is like, as much as we all think we're set for 2026, let's all make our lineups tomorrow, and guess what? They'll be all different. There's going to be some kid who's going to embarrass, who knows, like, could even be McKinney. Somebody at that position will embarrass somebody we think is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
That's true. They were talking about that on the broadcast. Like, in 4 years, there's going to be some new people that will be pressuring for spots here. So, I mean, there'll be growth here, because a lot of these guys who are good now should stay good, theoretically. And hopefully,
theoretically, but you know what? I hate to be the fucking Grim Reaper here, but, like, let's just list it real quick. Reyna, Pulisic, Aronson, Adams, McKinney, Musa, Weah, right? And even
Stock
Turner
going up.
Those
Reyna, even though he was stifled, stock still going up, because the word is that he was stifled.
Yeah, I disagree. I think it showed why he wasn't chosen. Like, I think today's performance is like, I think today's performance is like, see, but I will, and I'm not a Greg defender, but I will defend him in this. But anyway, I digress. I guess what I'm saying is, of all those amazing players that we're just so rock hard for and can't wait what's going to happen, guess what? One of them by that time will be out of football from either falling off or injury.
I think that'll be Jesus Ferreira.
No. One of the big boys I just listed, the ones that we're the most psyched about. Think about that.
Wow, somebody's gonna fall from here. Like, they're just gonna fall from.
Exactly.
Somebody will. Statistically possible, yes.
I mean, God, dude, like,
who does it happen to?
That's another thing. Like, that's so much of the excitement of the World Cup too, is like all the players that finally are around the game talking about it too. But, like, let's talk about something I lived through. Like, Charlie Davies was about to be our guy. He was about to be our Drogba, our Lewandowski. He was about to be our guy. And that accident. And, one of the best things is he's on enough TV and enough, like, podcast stuff to know, like, he's a happy man. He has a good family. He actually feels very proud of the career he led, even after that accident. But the sky was the quite literal limit for that man. And he fell off due to a car accident even. And so, like I said, one of those guys that we think are just cannot miss are going to fall off. And so who's the next one up? Is it Paxton Aronson? Is it, like, whoever, right? Is it Matthew Hoppe?
A name that we don't even know about too.
Well, that's the thing. Is there Matthew Hoppe who's had, like, a really, rough, like, a false start to his career, so to speak? Mm-hmm. Is he going to be, like, quite literally the man, like a Lewandowski by the time we're at 2026? Who knows? But
who was the main man for Ecuador this year?
Oh my God, you put me on the spot. Yeah, like
Ecuador, because like when I saw him at Ecuador,
it's like a familiar name. It's like another player
and
that
he's
like
Enter
is famous.
Valencia. So Enter Valencia
That's
apparently
the
he hasn't. I don't know if I was reading that correctly, but I thought that it said like he didn't really play a lot of the World Cups for them in the past, or like it didn't. I don't know if he was at the past World Cups with them. Wait, it would be 2014. All right, but I just feel like he was he wasn't included at some point, and like he was like, and then right now he's a guy who like they're built upon, and if they had the rest of their talent that they used to have, that would have meant something at that. And I'm looking at what players are left off this team right now that potentially we're going to be looking back and be like, how did we leave that guy off? And
right.
I
We'll
think that's
we'll all
Pifak.
remember after they have like 3 great World Cups. We'll like, it's 4, right? Wasn't he
Pifak
there in
or Pepe.
2022?
Yeah.
You know, but like Malik Tillman, I think might be that cat.
Ooh,
That
Malik
guy is-
Tillman. Like, how did we not bring that guy?
Well, you know, like Jordan Morris saw the field twice. And to be honest, the second time, not going to be mad about it. He was fast enough that like his job was like, you go try and score a goal, but I swear to God, you have to be the last defender because we're not defending anymore. You know, like, so that was the only time I wanted to see a Jordan Morris, but like he got in twice, but like, let's not kid ourselves. Like some of these guys did not see the field that we were all fucking terrified for. Kellen Acosta he played 2 games. That's right. He did play Iraq, but like, or Iran. I'm sorry. Oh man, I did not mean to be disrespectful. It was Iran.
No, that's
But,
not you just made a mistake. The other thing about that game, though, is that the way that they managed yellow cards through that group stage, I was really worried that we were going to lose somebody for this key game to red card, you know, to double yellow card. And it didn't happen, especially after that first game. The first game, there was 4 yellow cards. So I was like, ugh.
You know what? I don't know if I had like Berenstein Bears Mandela effect or what, but like, I thought Tyler Adams had a yellow in that first game. So when he got a yellow in the third game, I was like, yay, but sad.
Yes, I thought he got it. Yeah, I got worried too for that reason. I thought he did get a second. Yeah.
But then like nobody was talking about it. So I was just kind of like, okay, you know, like, let's pretend. Dude,
Chad's saying about the game, and do you think would you agree with this? First half, it was like the Dutch boxed the USA in their own penalty area. The second half, the Dutch really went on the offense.
No, I would not agree. We were not pinned in. The Dutch really, at least, you know, who knows? Like, I am not a soccer analyst kind of cat. I am an enthusiast, right? But like, I really felt like the Dutch only got to our half like 4 times, and 2 of those went in the net. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really do. I feel like I quite literally thought we were the better team going in half. And to be honest, man, had we not given up a last second goal, I think it could have been a little bit different. I really do.
Tyler Adams did not get a yellow card in that first game. Why we're thinking that is I think because Kellen Acosta was slotted in next to him, and he did.
Well, who's the fourth one? I knew McKinney, Acosta, and Dest. Who was the fourth?
Tim Ream.
Oh, see, that was the issue. I never thought Tim Ream had a yellow card.
And he had to play the rest of the games with on a yellow.
You know, today I got to tell you, man, I feel like this. You know, we should have beat Wales and we should have beat England, but we played well.
Yes,
and I think today we did also play well. But I think we made more mistakes in this game than any other game. And I guess the real question is, did the Dutch make us make mistakes, or did we just underperform our best?
Because I think it had to do with freshness.
We didn't get embarrassed.
I don't think it had to do with energy. I think these guys were a little worn out after that last game. And if the squad was a little more rotated during those 3 games, that would have helped this game tremendously. And that slight, you know, he was rotating. He's bringing guys in, but he wasn't changing the starting lineup and making too much changes there. He really couldn't. I mean, his hands were tied. Like, those were the best fucking Americans we got. Those are the best guys we got.
That's actually the point I think I circled around and never got to.
So
which was
the
like,
energy fading is, to me, what was the key failure of this World Cup, because tactically they could have actually won today. They just energetically, they weren't there for 45. And if you're not there for 45 in the round of 16, you're going home. Energy wise, like that, and we saw those in those 2 goals. Like the whole guys were like they were trying to run through Jello, and at a certain point, everybody started running through Jello, but that didn't happen at that point yet. So they're the only team running through Jello, and it's the first goal. It was like I was like, wow, is this like the last minutes of the game we're watching? The way that USA was so tiredly defending.
Tyler Adams. You know, I think we're all terrified to say Tyler Adams screwed that up because we all want to see him make this huge,
but it was
move
his
to
energy
a
that
Champions
screwed
League
it up.
team and make a bunch of money.
That's when your technique fails. Is when your energy's not there.
And you know, that's the thing. That was the one kind of defense I do have about Berhalter. Despite the false 9, which is what we should have done. Okay, let's not kid ourselves. Josh Sargent didn't have a terrible tournament, but still not as well as what I think we could have done with a false 9 with Tim Weah there. But other than that one thing, Greg Berhalter did not get a ton of criticism, or doesn't deserve a ton of criticism here. And I know we were going to be tired because
he does though, because he didn't, like I said, he didn't rotate the squad enough.
Well, that's right. Who would you have played? Like,
okay,
here's the thing. He
that's
literally made
question.
the internet happy every day.
The real question is, who would you have played and when? That's
exactly
right. Who would you have played and when? And that's a hard fucking question.
He played Cameron Carter-Vickers when he needed to, because Zimmerman did not play bad today. Tim Ream did not play bad today. You know, Anthony, like 2 people who never make mistakes, quite literally never, who have played every second of this World Cup, ended up making mistakes, and then we're down 2 goals. And that's that's Tyler Adams and Jedi Robinson. And
I know where I'm making changes. I'm making changes in this Iran game specifically. And in this Iran game,
because it was tight, dude.
It doesn't matter.
It was puckered up butthole
That's
time.
the game I got to go for it. And that's the game you got to get this rotation in, because that rotation would have changed this game. Now imagine if you start, instead of Tim Weah starting, you got Gio Reyna or who do you want?
I would have went Aronson.
Aronson was my who I was searching for. Aronson was my first one, but Gio Reyna was my second reach. Like, boom, I'm starting in Tim Weah there. Josh Sargent started the Iran game, which is were you okay with Sargent, or were you gonna leave somebody else there?
I was okay with Sargent, but again, I am of the school of, I thought we should have false 9'd it with either Aronson or Reyna. Now that I've seen Reyna, I see that he was making the right call. But like, I would have, my thought, and even most of this tournament, would have been do the false 9 with Weah up front. Weah in the middle would have even, what's funny is, like, it wouldn't have helped him in his career, because playing on the wing right now, he's about to get motherfucking paid. He's going to Newcastle. He going to somewhere. He about to get paid. And had you started him as a false 9, you probably actually would have won this game and more. You probably would have comfortably won the group, but his career is still better off doing what happened. But I would have done the false 9. Other than that, like, who else would you have changed? The MMA midfield is where it's at. I don't care if Brendan Aronson is a better player individually than McKennie, which I don't agree with, or Musa, which I kind of agree with. It doesn't matter. MMA works so well together. You don't screw that up.
Okay, here's where I'm changing, and who I'm getting rest. I'm getting Tim Weah off. I'm going to get Brendan Aronson on. I'm going to get Josh Sargent off. I'm going to get Gio Reyna there. I'm just going to go for this weird false 9 with them two, with Aronson, Reyna, and Pulisic leading my front line. I'm going to get a good 75 out of Pulisic, and is my goal. We only got 45 out of Pulisic because he got the nut shot. But that would have been my goal going into that game. And then I would have had Weah on the bench, Sargent on the bench to slot in for the last 30, blah, blah, blah. Then they're going to be able to come to this next game a little bit more rested, a little more to give, in my opinion. In regards to McKennie, Adams, and Musa, I am at a loss. I am at a loss.
Hold on.
For who to sit
you
there.
Say all that, but what would you have taken the yellow cards into account? You're not talking about the yellow cards at this point. Like I'm saying, dude, he rolled the dice because there is no tomorrow.
Right.
Right? Like, you got to win that game. And so I have no qualms about actually his lineup choices. Just like the subs in the first, third, and fourth game, I have issues with.
I'm still saying also in the back line, though, I would say it went Robinson, Ream, Vickers, Dest. If there was a way that we could have rested Robinson and Dest in this game against Iran confidently, I would have loved that. But as you've pointed out, we've nobody out behind Jedi. And Dest, you could definitely put in what's his face, Yedlin to go 75, and then maybe put Destin for the last 20. And I think that would have really saved Dest's legs a little bit more too, and saving some key guys for this last game. And I think you would have had enough firepower to win in Iran with those slight small changes, and then come into this game with enough energy. But still, that midfield is Musa, Adams, McKinney were tired today. And if there was a way we could have rested them, I just don't see it. That's the other thing.
There just wasn't a way. There wasn't a way. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say this, man. I think the most important person to our offense that quite literally I don't hear anybody talking about, not a single pundit, is Anthony Robinson.
Yes.
And I think if you were to go back through qualifying, he created the start of all offensive movement forward. Even think about the goal Dest scored on his left. Like, that shit started with Jedi. Like, Jedi is kind of the most important guy in our offense because he does so well to hold the ball and get back defensively that Christian Pulisic has the freedom to just live.
He does. He does a lot of work.
That's something we don't actually give much credit to, is like, we just talk about Pulisic like, oh, do this, do that, do this. And he's only allowed to do all of that because Jedi is so stupid good behind him.
That's a good point. Jedi, I didn't feel like he had the greatest World Cup, but that's because he was doing literally the work of two men. He's not only he's playing defense like an all-world left back, and then he's also playing offense and playing Robin to Pulisic's Batman. Every play he was there.
Every
play he was there. Think about that. Like, he ran himself to smithereens this World Cup. Hopefully he comes back stronger.
Dude,
from it.
Okay, hold on. Can we have a fun conversation? Okay, hold on. Actually, man, I digress. I've been on here for God knows how many minutes, and you asked a question the second before I jumped on that I wanted to answer.
Yeah, go for it.
You said, does Greg get 4 more?
Yes.
Do we reelect Greg? Here is my absolute honest opinion. We have no important game for 4 years. There's no qualifying, which, like, yes, that's amazing because, like, it's like being married. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get it on my birthday.
I'll slightly push you back on that but I hear what I'm gonna have to let you finish because you're right. But I feel like because there is no important game, that makes every game important.
Oh, see, I totally disagree. So there is no important game. No one has to work for their job.
Right.
See, that's the thing. Like, think about Aaron Long. Dude, oh my God.
I'm going to push back. No one has to work for their job. Dude, the best of America wants to be there. Look at Areola, what it meant to him getting left off this team. There are going to be people who are pushing, knocking on the door, ripping that door off, saying, I'm sorry. Let's pick somebody out. I'm sorry, person on the team right now. I'm starting. I'm just better. And that's going to happen. Like
that all happens but that all gets to happen at club level. There's not a single game where you get to come through and save a coach's job. There's not a single game where we go home or we win. There's not a single game like that. There's not a moment that you can prove yourself
in that way. Well, the pressure is on the players, not on the team.
You could just screw up with the national team. Like, well, screw it. It was a friendly, and now I'm like defender of the year in MLS, and you're on the team.
I'll be on the team.
Whereas, like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you need. I don't like that there's not going to be a competitive game from here to then. And so that's where I'm almost like, fuck, we're stuck with Greg. Because to go in any other direction, we actually it's like scientific method. There will be the hypothesis, the hypothesis will never be tested until the World Cup. So fuck that shit, right?
Chad has a lot to weigh in, but yes. Hey RBI, hey Connor, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us here.
Oh my God, Connor, I love you, baby.
Connor said this today, and he'll say it again. Jesus Ferreira should never have started. He didn't start a group game, but he starts in the win or die situation and goes invisible for that entire first half.
Yeah, but didn't Edson Buttle start against like Ghana or whatever? Like
I like Edson Buttle.
Dude, why did it take me so many years to find out you got a DUI at an All-Star game? Like,
what?
Fucking old school MLS had no personality. Wow. Anyway, I digress.
Connor says Nations League and Gold Cup. Yeah.
Fucking until the Gold Cup goes every 4 years, you just fucking jerk me off with that. Screw the Gold Cup. And then like Nations League, forget that because now we don't ever get the...
Greg's the reigning champ.
Dude, okay. I will say this. Please give me just a second. I promise I'll get off your channel because I know I'm kind of on one right now.
I love when you talk, brother. I love listening to you.
But I have to say this. So I kind of screwed up because my girl does not like sports. And like the first game I told her she was like forced watching was the Nations League final, which is kind of the greatest game that ever happened with all the fights. The guy who jumped off the ledge behind the reporter's desk, the Clint Dempsey in the camo, like the beer can or the beer hitting Gio Reyna in the face, the shush celebration. Like it was kind of the greatest soccer game to ever happen.
Incredible.
Despite that, I still hate the Nations League because there's no more friendlies. You don't get to see other continents. You don't get to see African football. You don't get to see Asian football. You don't get to see oceanic football. You just play the same idiots all the time. That's what the Gold Cup is for. I don't know. I hate Nations League.
Yeah.
But that's my rant about Nations League. But yeah, nothing matters. Nothing matters till the World Cup. Come on, dog.
Yeah, and Connor agrees with you. He says nobody cares about the Gold Cup and Nations League because it's CONCACAF. So
no, I care about the Gold Cup just every other year. Or every other tournament, I should say.
CONCACAF tried to be UEFA with the Nations League thing. And that's the other thing. Like, MLS, until they get some sort of like Champions League, I don't know how USA gets... The USA League improves, and because we need the USA League to MLS to improve, the USA Leagues to improve for us to get better players, so we can do more damage at this World Cup. Because we're missing striker, we're missing entire pieces of this team still.
I mean, it's a joke, but we haven't had a left back in God knows how many decades, and then like we only have one. Like we still only have one. It's so funny. One of my boys had a kid and he's like, oh, he likes soccer. You know, help him out. I was like, be a left back. You'll go to the national team. Because like for real, dude, we have no left backs except for the one. And that's even been the first one in the God knows how long. I mean, how much did we have to live through Jonathan Bornstein? And like, the guy is funny as hell, but I've never liked him as a player. Villafania. Like, dude, we literally were gonna try and go to a World Cup with Villafania in the back. Come on, dog. Like, we do have holes.
Hopefully somebody emerges.
I mean, you never know, right? Like I said, somebody we've never heard of, somebody right now who's like literally trying to finger a girl for the first time is about to be a World Cup hero in 2026.
Yeah, that's so true. And he just watched the USA lose. United States. Kind of hilarious. Well, I want to see what like up and coming left backs are even here. I mean, beyond these guys.
Who's that cat at PSV? Ledesma? Isn't he left back? Oh, Scally, right? Doesn't Scally play on the left?
Oh, Scally. Okay. Dest can play left back, but he's really the right back. Robinson. Scally's really a right back. Who's this?
Oh, you're right. I mean, Cannon's a right back. Scally's a right back.
DeJuan Jones for New England. He's 25. He's apparently.
Oh yeah, FIFA keeps trying to push that kid.
FIFA's definitely pushing DeJuan Jones. Ryan Hollingshead has got respect over at LA, but no, I don't think so.
Dude, won't he be like 35 by the
he's-
time the next World Cup rolls
he will
around?
be. He will be. Will it be a Tim Ream situation? You can't. I
Oh
don't know
my
if-
God! Hold on. Let's actually give some shine. You know what? As much as it hurts, as much as I'm dead inside today,
Yeah.
like let's give some shine. Tim Ream played well. Walker Zimmerman did one stupid thing, and like it didn't matter because we got out of the group, right? So like Walker Zimmerman, Serginho, let's just clap for everybody. They played pretty fucking well, man.
You know
It was
who
a
I really
fun World
like
Cup.
here? He did good for Tim Ream. He had a great World Cup despite being old. Probably his
Because
last
like,
World
let's
Cup.
not even pretend. Hold on. Let's not even pretend. Old boy Tim Ream would have been left off the 2018 roster had we made it.
Wow, and he was literally one of our best players.
For real.
He was one of the America's best players from start to finish in this tournament. He was the reason why he was part of that spine. One name that I'm standing out to me on this little left back list is a center back named Austin Trusty. He's 23 years old. He just got moved over to Birmingham City. I've seen this guy play in MLS a lot, and I've always really liked how Trusty played.
He was out of Philly, right?
He was out of Philly, yeah. And it says he's listed as a backup left back, but he's really a center back. But watch out for Austin Trusty.
Well, don't forget about Chris Richards.
Well, yeah, there's another one. Chris Richards, what is he?
Don't
Center
forget
back?
about Miles Robinson. Neither,
Wait, are we
man.
talking
Like,
center backs? I'm still looking left backs. He was just a name that
all
stood
right,
out here. Sorry,
there's no left back.
So
I'm gonna go pee.
Vines-
I'll be right back, bro.
All right.
Oh, Sam Vines. I forgot about that cat.
Yeah, that would be one. That'd be like, maybe. He plays over at Antwerp. He's 23 years old. So he's getting good time out in Europe. That'll be good. There's another guy named Aaron Herrera, John Tolkien, Leon Flack. Nick Lima is too old, 27 years old. I don't think he's small, but he's a right back by trade. Alex Gutman, former Chicago Fire. I'm sorry, Andrew Gutman, former Chicago Fire player. I don't think he's gonna. He already moved out to Europe and came back. I mean, maybe, but there's the Jorge Villafana, George Bello. So used to play for Atlanta. George Bello is an interesting shout. He's over at Bielefeld right now, so maybe have to watch out for him. It says left back, left mid, left wing back. Usually those types of player sounds like, pretty good athlete. I think George Bello might be another good one for us to watch out for that left back position. Maybe he'll be able to back up Jedi Robinson come this next World Cup. I'm liking that idea. But also like what Toke was saying, lots of people there's gonna be a few that we think are riding high. Crater, fall off. Or maybe even gradual. Brian Reynolds plays up Westerlo. He's 21 years old, so but he's right back by trade, it says. Noah Allen, young player for Inter Miami, has some potential. So that's kind of what we're looking at the left back position. And another guy named Kevin Paredes has apparently got some talent. He plays for Wolfsburg. He's 19 years old. I'm liking Paredes and Bello as potential backup left backs for the future. I mean, they're tipped by FIFA, and so is John Tolkien. Plays for New York Red Bulls. He's the left back for them, so watch out for him in MLS, possibly to be sold abroad pretty soon. Wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Chat saying Trusty is on fire. Trusty's on loan at Birmingham from Arsenal. Oh, wow. Arsenal player. Chat saying glorified friendlies with a USA Mexico final every year. Oh my God, Angus, can you believe it? Angus saying, call me stupid, but I do not fully get the point of the Nations League. So Connor explains glorified friendlies with a USA Mexico final every year. It's marketing, right? Tournament.
Connor is not incorrect, my man.
It's a marketing gimmick that ends with Mexico. It's just a game. It's a glorified tournament built around getting Mexico to USA. Mexico and USA to play each other, right? In a game that seemingly means something.
Which sucks because if we didn't care as much about just the money aspect, we could have so much more fun of a Gold Cup. USA Mexico could matter so much more.
Well, how do we make that matter? Do we have to include a team like Argentina in the mix?
Absolutely not. We stretch that shit out to every 4 years. We have a 32 team tournament for the Gold Cup. We have 50 something odd countries in CONCACAF.
So just let them go. Just have a World Cup. Just have a World Cup of CONCACAF.
Exactly, especially since the World Cup's going to be 48 teams in 2026.
So you need games of merit. You need games of import. That's how you can manufacture a little bit of that.
Dude, do a big ass qualifying tournament for the Gold Cup, and then that's how you figure out who else gets to go to the World Cup from CONCACAF. Like, how many more spots do we have next time? Because we all like teamed up and was like, we're terrified. We missed 2018. Mexico's like, yo, we're terrified. We kind of suck. And Canada's like, we're on the come up. So we all decided to host something. So we all got in for free. So like, how many more CONCACAF teams get to go? And why is the answer Honduras and Costa Rica? And Jamaica just missing it again. It's like literally, it's almost like Christmas. It comes around every 4 years. It's beautiful.
It's obvious. By the way, thanks to everybody in the chat watching us live. Greatly appreciate you guys who listen to us talk soccer, and we love talking, bantering with you guys. I was watching Connor, and we'll see. Basically, it was like watching the game with Connor, and we were just having a blast. And as America, crumbled near the end, but the entire experience, the entire World Cup experience, Toke, has been an enjoyable one. This World Cup has been marred by some of the issues that are inherent within having it in a Middle Eastern country. Beyond that, it's been actually super enjoyable and maybe even a bit of a surprise at the now that we're at the crest of the wave for the USA. It's just nothing but the end for USA for the World Cup, but we still have more to look forward to.
It's been an enjoyable tournament, man. There's been enough upsets that's been cool. Like, I did look, and it's kind of funny. Like, Asia had 2 qualifiers for the round of 16. Africa had 2.
South Korea and Japan, I know, right?
Yeah, and then Africa had
Senegal.
Oh my God. Yeah, Senegal and Morocco.
Morocco, dude. Morocco, when I was looking at their team, I was like, I was watching the...
Oh, shit. Did you say South Korea?
Yeah, South Korea.
Oh, Asia had 3.
No, wait, let me double check that. Let me double check that. I thought they had 2.
No, South Korea, Japan, and South Korea. You're right. Or did I say South Korea twice? Australia, Japan, and South Korea.
So I'm looking at... Yeah,
South
Korea
America
plays
just
Brazil.
had the 2.
South Korea plays Brazil. Japan plays Croatia.
Brazil, Argentina.
And Australia plays Argentina at 1 o'clock today, right now.
What sucks now is like I am so team chaos. I wanted Australia to win today, but now I have to root for Argentina because I want someone to embarrass the Netherlands.
No, I want Netherlands to go all the way.
No way. I want them to get killed 7-0 with a messy hat trick.
How great would it be for the American psyche to know that they were only beaten by the best?
Nah, screw that. I want Belgium to feel the pain. Man,
Qatar's from Asia, by the way, but I don't think they made it.
No, they didn't make it.
Yeah, they didn't make it.
No, I'm saying in the round of 16. My bad.
Oh, the round of 16? Yeah. That's what I thought you were talking about.
But CONCACAF just kind of had a bad showing, and like we did not have a bad showing. I feel like any logical person who watched the game today realized that we were not like it was 50-50. It's not like we were the better side and lost 3-1, but we weren't that much worse. Like we were the better side for large swaths of the game.
I want to drop ourselves. I want to play a little thought experiment with you in the chat. Chat, let me know how you feel about this. Let's drop ourselves. Let's do a little imagination land and say, what if we had swapped places with Mexico? What if we had different places with Canada? What if we were dropped into Group C where Mexico was, and instead of playing who we played Argentina, Poland, and Saudi Arabia? What would the result of that standing look like? Who is USA beating? Is USA beating
Saudi
Poland,
Arabia, Poland, and who?
And Argentina. Is USA?
Yeah, we're winning 2 of those 3 games.
It feels like we could beat Poland and Saudi Arabia pretty soundly. Certainly. Argentina, we could go and tie. I think we could even beat Argentina if we play them in the first game.
Oh, yeah, I definitely, dude. we played so well. That's the other thing too, is like
So let
it
me know.
became
So yeah, that's Group C. Thought idea. You know, if we had Mexico's spot,
that's part of the problem,
and
right?
let's take the inverse. Mexico having our spot. Mexico versus Wales. Mexico versus
Oh,
Iran. Mexico
no,
versus England. Who wins there?
Mexico's cooked. They're
I
gonna
think-
tie Wales 0-0.
I
They're
think
gonna
they
get
lose
cooked
to
by
Wales.
England.
I think
They lose to
Wales.
Iran. No, they lose to Iran. That's who else they lose to. They lose to Iran and they lose to England.
Hmm.
Wales 0-0, just uninspired football all around.
All right. Well, I'm gonna see if chat's weighed in. Nope, chat hasn't. But I'm gonna ask you
No,
now the
chat's
same
gonna
about.
be mad about that.
I'm gonna ask the same about Canada now. So say we switch places with Canada, and we were in the group with Morocco, Croatia, and Belgium. Good gracious.
That I think that's another kind of Dutch situation. Like
Oh.
we don't necessarily match up well against those people.
Oh, actually, that one's kind of looking at it now. Holy shit, that's a scary ass group.
It always was. I guess that's part of the problem, right? Canada suffered from the same thing we literally always suffer from. You know why we're in the group of death every World Cup? Because we're in it. You know, like we're one of the higher tier.
Because yeah, you're right. We
We're
are
the
part
higher
of it.
tiers of a lower tier team. You know what I mean? We're one of the best of the lower tier teams. So then we're in a group and it always looks like the group of death because you get one or two strong teams are strong for being a weak team. And then we always end up with some weak team that has like a specialty.
Well, I mean,
you know?
who's the weak team in here? Out of Morocco, Croatia, Belgium, and USA. That's a hard one because Morocco finished top of the group. And the Croats looked really darn good.
I think it's the Croats because I think we beat Croatia because we run circles around them.
Yes, I think we beat Croats. I do think we could beat. Well,
we run circles
dangerous
around them. Belgium, I think, might sit on the ball too much for us. Any game that anybody wants to run with us because they thought that they had better talent, realize that like we're an actual American team with the American values of like nonstop athleticism, but actually can dribble a fucking football now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Anybody wants to get in a track meet with us, we that's why we look good against England.
I think we could have beat this Belgium team. This Belgium team was so beatable.
Maybe they probably would have sat on it. So it could have been a 1-0. Like had they gotten a decent goal, it could have been a 1-0, or we could have won 2-0 and them just sit on the ball and have 70%.
We could have gotten through in this group, but it would have been more difficult.
I think
Morocco, though, man. Let me read you the starting lineup before we go and think the thought experiment about Canada it being in the group of what we were just in. But listen to this Morocco lineup. Sofiane Boufal, Hakim Ziyech. I think they got Amrabat in midfield. Just some recognizable names. Saiss, and their goalkeeper. They have Bono, and they have another good goalkeeper too.
Don't they have Hakimi too?
Hakimi's out there. Yeah, Hakimi at right back. Let's see if there's anybody else I recognize. Not that I do, but man, I was looking at their lineup. I'm like, man, actually, they got a lot of good, recognizable, top of the line talent. Like that, you would not think that, they're really good.
You don't underestimate a team, man. You know.
Japan. Look at Japan. We got to take a look at Japan's team. But before I look at Japan, I'll highlight that.
Don't they all play for Celtic?
Who does?
I said, don't they all play for Celtics?
And Germany probably too. The German leagues too.
You're right.
But if Canada played Wales or England or Iran, I think Canada could beat Wales. I think Canada could beat Iran.
But Canada just had like first World Cup of a young group like struggles.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like today we finally like being young and like not as athletic finally caught up to us today. Canada would have got found out again still. I think no matter what group they were in, they were going to have some of those issues. You know, like Alphonso Davies missed a penalty. The only quite reason on planet Earth that happens is like he's in his head. It's his first World Cup. You know what I mean? Like that shit changes. 2026, now you got to worry about qualifying. trust me, that shit changes. They're gonna put in a good showing next World Cup.
So this is Japan's team. They have Ganda in goal. They got a 3-man back line with Taniguchi, Yoshida, and Itakura. They got a 4-man midfield with Ito, Tanaka, Morita, and Nagatomo. They got a front line of Kubo. I believe that we recognize that name. Maeda and Kamada. And their bench, they got Ritsu Doen, Wataru Endo, Kawaro Mitoma, Takahiro Tomiyasu, and Takuma Asano. And these guys are apparently good enough to beat Spain, good enough to beat Germany, good enough to actually be looked at as a contender to make it through in their next match against.
Dude, that's why football is kind of the best sport. It's
against
like
Croatia. They have a 50-50 chance, in my opinion, against Croatia. There is no favorite there.
No, you talk about like any given Sunday with
front,
American football, but that's why football is the best game ever, because look at Manchester City. Best team on planet fucking Earth right now.
Well, hey,
right,
apparently
obviously.
The win probability is giving Croatia 46%, Japan 25%, draw 29%. I think it's not that. I don't think it's like that. I think it's a lot more 50-50 between Croatia and Japan because of the way Japan is playing right now.
Well, I agree. I totally agree. It's like, it's the sport, dude. Like, it's how many games as the best team on planet Earth won 1-0? You know, it is not easy to score goals. It just isn't. It's not like basketball where you gotta like score 80% of the time you come down the field, the court. You know what I mean? Like, the goals are a premium, and some of the best teams on the planet win plenty of games 1-0. Right? So that's what makes a tournament knockout so up in the air, because, you know, that's where like the next World Cup's going to be diluted. You get 32 of the best teams in the world, and, you know, like, you play this game today with the Americans, dude, 5 times out of 10, the Americans are going to win. 5 times out of 10, the Netherlands are going to win. You know, and that's why it's just such a fun game, because the margins are so unbelievably thin. Dude, Japan coming in at 30%. Dude, they could so easily jump out in the first 15 minutes 2-0 and just sit on it. You know what I mean? Just as likely as that shit could go to 95 minutes with a last second header by either team. You know, it's just it is quite literally like any given day a team can win, you know, because scoring is at such a premium.
I got about 20 minutes, a little less than 20 minutes left before I gotta take off here. I don't know how long you got.
I'm leaving, bro. I'm gone.
I was gonna ask you a couple questions about, but if you gotta go,
I gotta go. But
right.
I love you. I quite literally love you, James. You take care of yourself.
Toke, love you, man. All right, brother. Greatly appreciate you stopping by, talking some USA soccer. Catch Toke over on YouTube, friend of the channel, always listed in my friend of the channel checkouts. We got Connor weighing in saying, finally got an explanation from the USS about why they didn't give me my press pass 3 times I applied. They said I'm too critical, quote unquote. Wow, Connor. I mean, I imagine they don't, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, so to speak, right? Connor knows, saying that the majority of the Japanese players play in the top leagues, like Germany, England, Spain, Scotland. They're spread around there. It's pretty cool. And that's giving them a lot of power. I mean, I'm sure they have a couple of people playing in the Japan League, but same thing for USA. We need more and more players playing in these more pressurized leagues, the leagues with Champions League. So they get Champions League experience, high pressure games. That's what Toke was saying, that players are going to lack in the national team sense, and we are going to lack those types of moments, but at least they will be there, hopefully, for the clubs, if not for the country, unless you can manufacture some type of moment where they do feel that pressure. And in my opinion, I wonder, or at least I wondered this, but in what it go, because Toke's correct, there's no pressure games per se that they have to go win now, but I think there's going to be pressure on individuals to perform at their best, because this World Cup is going to be a showcase. And if Greg is in control, I'm going to be okay with Greg being in control. I think I'm going to be a little mad about that somebody else, a new person, doesn't come and get a bite of the apple. But who? who comes in and gets another bite of the apple beyond Jesse Marsh, in my opinion. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't think that maybe you give him another 2 years to see if he can turn this team into something. And if he can't, and Jesse Marsh comes available in between those at some point during that time, you make the move. But Jesse Marsh needs 4 years to truly install his program. So the sooner you get Jesse Marsh in here, the better, I think, if we are really going that route. But here's the other thing. And by leaving in a coach like Greg, do you risk the run of run the risk of him developing favorites and jeopardizing the team for the future, or do you have to get a new coach in here who's going to develop new favorites? That's the other thing. Or is Greg going to be fair, judicious, and truly bring the best talent available to him and use that talent that's at his disposal? We still need a 9. Chat saying, Louis Van Gaal, the U.S. men's national team didn't adapt. They didn't adjust. We made our tactical plan based on targeting the flanks. So that's what they did. And that's what they did. Angus saying, Connor, you see more balance than the other people with being critical. They want to deal with the yes people. That's the thing. That's the thing. When we're balanced and more fair, when we ask the critical questions, they don't want that. They want the cork soakers. That's who they want. They want the people who uphold it as well. And but at the same time, and we venerate it just the same as they do. But we're like, we'll hold it, we'll help, but also we'll look back and be like, uh-oh, that's fucked up. All right, well, maybe I got to shift hands here. Maybe somebody else want to come hold this for a few minutes because this is fucked up. I think that's what we do as fans, or as offering a critical perspective, and by offering that friction, we give them ground to go forward and upwards, right, and climb that hill. Without that friction, without that, it's just a frictionless surface and it's ice, and you just slide on down. How are you going to go anywhere? How are you going to go forward if you're just going backward and you don't have the means to go forward, the traction, the grip? And I think that's what sometimes the people up there, they can't handle the grit like that. They want more. They want 90% yes, 10% critical. And I think that the athletic guys do a pretty good job. They're at almost like at that 80, 70, 30%, because they're a little bit more critical than most, but they're still not super critical. They still obviously hold the torch. And that's the other thing. They want people that obviously hold the torch, but it's like, hey, don't I obviously hold the torch? And I don't know. It's also about brand friendliness, family, advertiser friendliness, perceived notions. Because think about how advertisements have changed since 1950s to 2020s. Imagine a guy from the 1950s seeing an ad from today for like Coca-Cola or anything. I mean, from the 50s, they'd be blown away. Or an ad for orange juice. We got Netherlands. And who is Netherlands going to take on? Is it Argentina or Australia? I don't know. Argentina or Australia, of course, kicked off. People are watching that game. I'm going to probably end the stream here in a few minutes. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Greatly appreciate talking a little soccer with you guys, bantering, talking football, the good football, soccer. Japan, Croatia kicks off Monday at 9 a.m. Brazil, South Korea at Monday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Tomorrow, France and Poland kick off at 9 a.m. England and Senegal at 1 p.m. Central. And then on Tuesday, Morocco and Spain, 9 a.m. And Portugal, Switzerland, 1 p.m. These are all good teams. The round of 16 is all good this year. Really, really good teams all have a shot. Brazil and South Korea might be the one team where you're like, Brazil's going to be the obvious favorite, but watch out. Anger's reporting that the game is tied at 12 minutes. Oh, yeah, it's updated there. 13 minutes now. Argentina, of course, really predicted to go through. Makes sense. 0-0. Well, guys, I think there's a lot that the USA could build upon. Long story short, there's more positives than there are negatives from this World Cup. In that we have a program to be reckoned with. Reckoned with by the world's best, including England. England is looking at our program like, oh, what are they doing that's making them so successful that we can incorporate? England's looking to steal from us. Let's look to steal from England. Let's look to steal from the Dutch. Let's look to steal from Brazil. Let's look to steal from the best of French, the Germans, Japan, the people who are having success. Let's find out what's working. Bring those tools into the tool shed. Give old Greg or whoever the coach of the U.S. men's national team or whoever's running it going to be for the next 4 years in the next World Cup, more tools at his hand and more players at his disposal and more quality world-class players. Like, I mean, Christian Pulisic. So he has got so much more respect at this World Cup. He's going to go back to Chelsea and people are going to be looking at him different. They're going to be like, oh shit, he's going to be able to hold his fucking chest out high. He's going to be able to, he scored a World Cup goal. I think he scored 2 at least. He's got 2 World Cups. He got a World Cup win. Basically beat England. Beat Wales basically as well. Those are basic wins. He did beat Iran with his balls. He beat Iran with his balls. I think that Christian Pulisic hopefully comes out real strong from this World Cup. Hopefully a lot of the players do. I mean, that midfield, guys. Yunus Musa, Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie. Very impressed. Tim Weah. These guys, I hope that they do improve. I hope that they get better. They go on to bigger, better moments. They get more pressurized minutes into Champions League, going on to win trophies for their clubs. And then coming back and helping country have good success at the next World Cup here in 2026. Very exciting. Chat, been a blast. Really appreciate talking a little soccer with you guys. Always fun. After that game ended, I was like, oh man, I gotta hop on. Talk to the peoples. It's just so fun. You know, the world's game and USA, hey, we're a part of it. It might not feel it sometimes. We might not get the full connection from others out there who are like, oh yeah, the soccer, but hey, at least we get it here. I thank you guys for that. Thank you guys for giving me a place, and all of us here in the chat, watching live or after the fact, a place where we feel like, hey, there is a place where soccer matters in America. Hey, here on YouTube. It's over here on Spittin' Fire's channel. It's over there on Connor's channel. It's over there on Sons of a Pitch Soccer's channel. It's over there on FC Neo Tokyo's channel. There's love for the game in America. You just gotta know where to look for it sometimes. And that's why I appreciate all you guys hanging out here watching, bantering, talking a little soccer. A beautiful game that we all love. Angus saying, arguably the most famous balls ever. They're going to be the most looked for balls in the probably on the planet for the next couple years, or at least year or a little bit for that in this news cycle. Think about that, right? That's funny. Poor Christian, but he'll be fine. You will be fine. Argentina, Australia, no shots yet for either club, but Argentina is probably knocking on the door. I gotta imagine. Go look at that's deleted previous tweet. Point is Netherlands. It's obviously a very good team, but goals the USA gave up to me, not a soccer expert, should have been preventable. Result of sloppy defense. No, I mean sloppy defense those were a result of tired legs. And USA got many opportunities that they should have, but didn't capitalize on. Once again, I think that's another product of, stay with me, tired legs. Was a super winnable game. It absolutely was. And if there was a little bit more rotation, if Berhalter felt he could rotate a little bit more, if he had the talent to rotate a little bit more, maybe this result ends up a little different. And I'm hoping that the next generation comes up on through and gives whoever the U.S. men's national team coach is for the next World Cup more talent to deal with, because this is an excellent base to build upon. Excellent base of the house, right? The foundation of something to build on. We haven't been here for the last 4 years. We didn't get to build on anything. This is the foundation. We're building something new, and a lot of these guys will be at the next World Cup, and hopefully they are our most dangerous U.S. American players going forward, right? And they get better and they grow with this, and hopefully more stars, more heroes for the U.S. men's national team emerge during those moments as well. Some chat say it. Some people in the comments saying it wasn't a winnable game. Dutch tactics were just far superior. Yes, the defending was sloppy, and yes, there's some missed chances, but the Dutch were just far superior. I disagree. It was a winnable game. USA really could have won that game. Our strengths are our wingers. Our strengths are our wingers. Our strengths are our fullbacks. Our strengths are in our center. Our strengths are the entire team. Our strengths are everywhere but striker. We were really missing a striker. And on top of missing a striker, we were missing a backup left back that we could rely on, that would allow Robinson to rest. We're missing a truly reliable right back, somebody a little bit better than Yedlin, that we could let Dest rest. We need somebody who could let Tim Ream rest. I think that the two defenders, Zimmerman and Cameron Carter-Vickers, they're perfect, swappable. In that midfield, we have nobody swappable as far as Yunus Musa, Tyler Adams, and Weston McKennie. Like those three, I don't know who we're bringing in there to sub them, but we got to figure out somebody who could slot in for all three of those guys, or at least once or twice during these games, right? So these guys could get some rest and come into this game a little bit more fresh. And I think Brendan Eriksson, Gio Reyna are obvious guys who you could rely on up front. We just still need that striker position. I mean, you could swap out Brendan Eriksson or Gio Reyna for Christian Pulisic if you needed to, and they did need to when he took one of the pills, and they got the win. They got the point. So. Chat, what a World Cup performance. Let me know how you guys are feeling about that. What's your guys' final thoughts for right now as we get to go and enjoy the rest of the World Cup from a different perspective, no longer as competitors, but as what is it, observers, right? Competitive fans, right? I don't know if your guys' picks to win it have changed. But I gotta say, I think that Croatia has had good moments, looked dangerous. I think England has had great moments, looked dangerous. And any one of these teams could actually just all of a sudden turn it on in these next three games. Spain, Portugal, they could light up like a fire. Switzerland, they might be able to go one or two more games, right? They've a really good morale there. Morocco could upset Spain. We could be seeing a Morocco-Switzerland final, and that really changes the game here. Because both these teams that's a truly 50-50. Morocco could come in, very well surprised. Big rival between them and Spain. You know, the Strait of Gibraltar is right between them. Portugal, Switzerland had a really good game, and I think they came together as a team. They looked like they were so playing for each other. It was really incredible. And the Portuguese have yet to truly come together, but they've looked good. They've had good flashes. And I think that if they start gelling in that game versus Switzerland, watch out, right? England versus Senegal. Senegal could very well come in and upset England. England's got to go in there and do a job. France versus Poland. Poland could upset, but France seems to be, kind of well, they faltered last game. Poland is heading in the right direction. France faltered. That's once again 50-50, but France has the super talent. Hank is saying that it seems as though the U.S. got a rope-a-doped by the Netherlands. They played hard in the first half, despite the no goal, not scoring, and then got super tired playing defense throughout. And it was just, and in the end, and then because of all that, just added up. Chat, Angus, Connor, RBI, Orson, everybody watching live, lurking in the background. Thank you for kicking that like button. Thank you for subscribing to Spit and Fire. Hit that bell icon to get notified of our live streams. What a World Cup, guys. I think that we could do it. We could do it again. We can win. We can take it all the way in World Cup 2026. Do you think the USA has a chance to win it all in World Cup 2026? Realistically, it would seem that their odds have increased. Where they also always had maybe a 1 to 2% chance to win the World Cup. I think that going into this World Cup, they're going to have closer to a 5% chance. And if the players and the talent and the coaching improves to boot, maybe those odds improve. We're going to have home field advantage after all. Exciting times for U.S. men's national team coming here with the World Cup approaching, and still exciting times left for the World Cup, guys. Thanks for joining it here on Spit and Fire. Greatly appreciate the time to talk soccer with you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Fire it up, footballers. Have a great one. Let's go! USA! 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 All right, chat. Always blast. Catch you guys on the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate it, y'all. Fire it up. And yeah. Let's go. Always love you, and love you guys. And I got some videos always releasing as usually as always when I come out with these streams. I try to clip them. Love to read your guys' comments on those, guys. Always love to. It's basically just the highlights of these streams, but I think it's coming to a good flow. Guys, it's been great. Go enjoy the rest of the weekend. Go enjoy the rest of the tournament. And we will catch you next time here on Spit and Fire Wednesday. We're always live every Wednesday evening. Angus saying, thanks, James. Thank you, Angus. Thank you, the Archduke himself. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the channel. Greatly appreciate here on Spit and Fire. See you guys next time. Later.